Well, the double murder trial of Alex Murdaugh continues today. But before the witness testimony begins, the prosecution is asking the judge to allow them to introduce evidence related to financial crimes the former lawyer is accused of committing. So CBS News producer Elizabeth Campbell has been covering the case for us. She's outside the courthouse in Walterboro, South Carolina. All right, so let's talk about this, because this is related to what the prosecution says is a motive. The jury won't be in the courthouse this morning for the hearing. What is the prosecution hoping to achieve?
Yeah, Emery, it's almost a trial within a trial now. This is the seventh witness who's going to come forward to talk about the financials without the jury in the room. So he's talking to an audience of one, and that's Judge Cliff Newman, who's going to decide whether or not all this financial information is going to be presented in front of the jury a second time around. He's hoping to make that decision today. We're hoping he makes that decision today. As we keep hearing from everyone, it seems like multiple times. Prosecution is hoping that this information will be included because they're saying that all of the financial pressure that Alex Murdaugh was feeling created a perfect storm of desperation on him. And that's what led him to kill his son and wife, allegedly, to help ease the pressure and draw attention away from all the financial information and investigations he was under.
So let's talk about what we know so far in this trial. Last week, we heard and saw some cell phone videos taken shortly after the murders were played last week. One is showing Murdaugh, and one is playing his voice. And according to that's according to testimony. There were people who testified that's definitely his voice. Can we talk about the significance of the video, which I sort of stumbled through? So maybe you can describe what the videos were a little better than me.
Of course. So there's the big one you're talking about was filmed shortly before the murder. So at 8:44, Paul Murdaugh films a video of a dog that he's looking after for his friend, and he's trying to show him there might be an injury on the tail. And like you said, two family friends testified that they are 100% sure they're hearing Alex Murdaugh's voice in the background of that video of the dog. And this is important because investigators believe that Paul and Maggie were killed around 8:50 p.m. So we're talking a matter of about 6 minutes here. Now, Alex Murdaugh said multiple times to investigators he was nowhere near the kennel that night. So it's raising a lot of questions of why is his voice in the background of this video if he was not supposed to be near there anywhere at all. There's also that second video you mentioned. That's a Snapchat video that was filmed a little bit earlier in the day that Paul showed that has Alex Murdaugh on camera, but in different clothing than police found him in later that night. And police testified that clothing they found him in was, quote, freshly cleaned. And so it's raising some questions as well about when and why did he change?
There was a bit of a contentious sort of cross-examination last week between the state law enforcement firearms expert and the defense. What evidence is under dispute?
Absolutely. So that was South Carolina Law Enforcement Division Special Agent Paul Greer, who testified about his firearm findings. And according to his examinations, the ammo that was found around the house property was cycled through the same weapon that was used to kill Maggie Murdaugh. So his conclusion is that the gun that was used in the murder was familiar to the family. It had been used on the property before. Now, defense is disputing this. They're saying that 300 blackout ammo that he examined could look the same from multiple manufacturers. And they're trying to argue his findings are an art, more of a science. Obviously, Agent Greer took exception to this and says it's a science based on a lot of examinations and process and peer review, but they're still going back and forth on what exactly it means to have that ammo found around the property.
So anyone who's interested in this case, it's like their head's going to explode because there's so many layers to this. He's on trial for murdering his son and his wife, but as you point out, that they're trying to introduce, evidence of financial crimes. His other son was involved in sort of a murky accident in which someone had died. People are going to wonder, how is this family able to function for so long? But they've had a lot of influence in this community. Can you talk about their role in the community?
Absolutely. It's a legal dynasty almost for the Murdaugh family here in South Carolina. I mean, we've talked about it before. They had to take off the photo of his great-grandfather who was in the courtroom. It's interesting to see the strength and the breadth that lawyer family had. I mean, on the night of the murders, despite earlier that day his law firm investigating him about missing money, they still showed up in force that night. During the first investigation interview that the police had, they had a lawyer in that SUV with him from his law firm. The day when the police went to search the house, they had 2 lawyers following them around from that law firm. So they really kind of closed ranks around their own as testimony to how powerful that Murdaugh family is. I mean, even more so as the public spectacle this has all become. Every morning we're seeing folks line up behind me around 7 a.m. Court doesn't open until 9:30 to try to get in and get a spot. It's roughly 100 people who are going in. When I'm over in the media center, it's an overflow room, people are coming in asking me all sorts of questions. So many people are traveling here to Walterboro just to see this trial.
Wow, this is definitely a case where truth is stranger than fiction. Elizabeth, thank you very much.